I learned a lot. And I learned I learned a lot. Anyway, Bo is associated here. Anyway, the point I want to make is I learned so much. I learned
black, white, all colors, all backgrounds.
But I mean, come on, man.
Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot.
You know, come on, man.
You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
What I have to do is I have to continue talking about the things that
come on, man. I came down here because I remember the first bumper sticker I saw. I learned that I got hairy legs that turned blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. And I learned about kids jumping on my lap. I love kids jumping on my lap.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
What are we, nuts? Dead.
You know.
Come on, man.
Give me a little break here. Get a life.
Taking cocaine or not? What do you think? Huh? Come on, man.
Black, white, all colors, all backgrounds.
But I mean, come on, man.
Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot.
You know, come on, man.
You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Come on, man. The Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
I can hardly wait to meet with that guy who is the stable genius.
Come on, man. I am very willing to let the public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness. Come on, man.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Wealthy kids.
Come on, man. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record. I know a lot of weed smokers.
Come on, man.
Black, white, all colors, all backgrounds.
But I mean, come on, man.
Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot.
You know, come on, man.
You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean?
Come on, man. Why the hell would I take a test? I am, come on, man.
What the fuck?
Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Well, the Trump and Biden debate sure happened. Sadly not on the Joe Rogan podcast. In many ways, the debate reminded me of the movie Alien vs. Predator. No matter who wins, we all lose. And just like Alien vs. Predator, the concept was better than the reality.
But you
I just want to make sure.
Joe, you're the
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I'll
I got rid of the individual mandate. Excuse me. I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of Obama. That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare. Chris, that was the worst part of Obama.
Chris Wallace wishes he was in Alien vs. Predator instead of the debate. Many things were said during the debate, and this may shock you, but not everything that was said was factually accurate. I know, hard to imagine, but it's almost as if each candidate was more concerned about making himself look good and the other person look bad than presenting actual solutions to the American people. Perhaps the biggest controversy to come from the debate was this: Trump declines to denounce white supremacy. Trump, again, refuses to explicitly condemn white supremacists. And Trump's refusal to condemn white supremacy fits a pattern of extremist rhetoric. But is that really true? Sounds like it's time once again for our segment, Wait, is that true? Presidential debate style. So let's run through some of the biggest claims of the debate and see if they're true. Starting with, was Joe Biden wearing an earpiece? There have been concerns that Joe Biden might not be as with it as he used to be.
If you could take care, if you were a quartermaster, you can sure and hell take care of running a, department store thing, where in the second floor of the ladies' department or whatever, you know what I mean?
Actually, Mr. Vice President, we do not know what you mean. And so before the debate, the Trump campaign had said it wanted a third-party group to inspect both candidates for earpieces. But according to a Trump campaign spokesman, Joe Biden's handlers agreed to a pre-debate inspection for electronic earpieces, but before the debate, abruptly reversed themselves and declined. Did that happen? It's hard to say. The Biden campaign did not directly address whether it had gone back on an agreement around the ear inspection, although they did say that, of course, Biden is not wearing an earpiece. And all this led to the post-debate accusation that Biden was wearing a wire during the debate. People point to moments like this when, zoom in, is that a wire or a fold in his shirt? Or this moment where Biden coughs and you see something on his wrist. Now, according to Reuters, it looks very much like the tip of a pen, pointing out that he was holding a pen during the debate. Reuters also suggests it could be a rosary he wears on his left wrist, in honor of his late son, Beau Biden, which you can see here. But accusing a candidate of wearing a wire isn't new. In 2016, there were accusations that Hillary Clinton wore an earpiece. In 2012, it was Obama wearing an earpiece in his debate with Romney. Boy, pixelated images with arrows on them sure are convincing. And in 2004, George W. Bush's bulge stirred media rumors, according to the BBC. I never want to hear George W. Bush and bulge in the same sentence ever again. Seriously, what kind of loser needs someone smarter than them giving them all the answers through an earpiece all the time? What's that, Shelley? I know, right? Pathetic. Now, obviously, people flock to conspiracy theories. Not me. I'm too smart for that. Which is why, when Biden posted this image to Twitter, mocking the accusations, I could see what was really happening. Joe Biden was promoting the same ice cream we saw in Nancy Pelosi's freezer, proving that the Democrats are part of an ice cream parlor deep state trying to make Americans lactose intolerant. Wake up, sheeple! Didn't you see the subliminal messages? But there were other moments of truthiness in the debate, which I'll get to after this short break.
This closure is absolutely devastating to businesses like hair salons.
A homeless man arrested for violating the mandatory mask order.
The hair salon owner who opened up her store has been jailed.
You must wear your mask. Wear the mask. This is the president who doesn't want to wear a mask. No one is above the law.
Nancy Pelosi was seen not wearing a face mask at a San Francisco hair salon.
Day before, Pelosi was saying that those people who don't wear masks, who don't follow rules, are bad people.
Not wearing a mask and having haircuts indoors against the rules there.
Be an example to the country and wear the mask.
Nancy Pelosi appears to have violated.
I'm a big believer in wearing the mask.
Next time, Madam Speaker, why don't you see if someone will come to your house?
You must wear your mask. Wear masks at all times.
Rules for thee, not for me.
And to blame others. Leaders take responsibility. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi claims she was set up.
So the Speaker of the House is blaming the salon after she didn't wear a mask indoors.
And now she's having lawyers get involved to dox this poor salon owner who has been shut down for 6 months.
We haven't worked. We have no income. Since this happened, I have received nothing but hate, text messages, death threats. They're going to burn my hair salon down.
I think that that this salon owes me an apology.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done there. So,
in the meantime, Nancy Pelosi is overseeing a legislative negotiation in which salons like the one that she went to would not get any money.
We have bills to pay.
So upsetting, and it's devastating.
Pelosi is being decimated for having a beauty parlor opened when all others are closed.
Financially, it's broke us.
The timestamp on the video says 3:08 p.m. Less than 3 hours later, she appeared on MSNBC with perfectly coiffed hair, lecturing everyone else.
Those people there, no mask. What a bad example that was.
I mean, you wouldn't want to go into your freezer with that kind of ice cream, not looking your best.
Welcome back. Another big focus of the U.S. presidential debate was the Supreme Court. There has been an ongoing debate about whether Trump should appoint a replacement for Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court before the election. For more on that, check out my recent episode about the battle for the Supreme Court. Trump has nominated Amy Coney Barrett. And during the debate, Biden said this:
that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional.
The Affordable Care Act is also sometimes called Obamacare. Now, this is significant because the Supreme Court will hear oral arguments for a case involving the Affordable Care Act a week after the election. And the Trump administration has been clear that it wants the Affordable Care Act ruled unconstitutional. However, according to an AP fact check that says false claims flooded the debate, that's not right. Barrett has been critical of the Obama-era law and the court decisions that have upheld it, but she has never said it's not constitutional. During the debate, Trump also talked about how many federal judges he had appointed, and claimed that it was because President Obama had left so many openings.
By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court justices. That is a record the likes of which very few people, and you know one of the reasons I'll have so many judges? Because President Obama and him left me 128 judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like, you just don't do that. They left 128 openings, and if I were a member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president, you can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost, it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term, 300 judges. It's a record.
It is true that by the end of his first term, Trump will have appointed a huge number of federal judges and very possibly 3 Supreme Court justices. But what Trump said is misleading. The fact that there were so many vacancies was not a result of Obama being complacent. It was because the Senate at the time was firmly controlled by Republicans. Republicans who blocked a lot of Obama's nominations. Of the 71 people whom Obama nominated to the district courts and courts of appeals in 2015 and 2016, only 20 were voted on and confirmed. Over the last 4 years, Trump has had the advantage of a Republican-controlled Senate that helped push his nominations. And now, let's look at another big topic: healthcare. Healthcare is obviously important to voters, especially with the Affordable Care Act being called into question. But according to Trump, his healthcare policies have been a success. He cites cutting drug prices, particularly insulin.
I'll give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people. The cost, I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth. So cheap.
So cheap, it's like water. I do love a nice cold can of insulin. Refreshing. It is true that some older Americans enrolled in Medicare would only have to pay $35 for a month's supply of insulin. But the federal government doesn't control the drug prices for people who don't have insurance or who get insurance through their employer, which is about 2/3 of the population. Overall, insulin prices have dropped, but that's mostly in response to the coronavirus. And honestly, healthcare is a lot more than just the price of insulin. Trump wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act. The pros and cons of Obamacare is a whole other episode. Maybe a whole dozen episodes. And while some say Trump has offered no alternative to Obamacare, that's not totally true either. Days before the debate, Trump issued an executive order on what, of course, he calls an America First healthcare plan. It promises coverage for Americans with pre-existing conditions and also asks for Congress to pass legislation by the end of the year to stop surprise billing, which would be great in the alternate reality where Congress can figure out how to work together and pass laws quickly. Healthcare also ties into the other big issue in the debate, the coronavirus, which I'll get to after this short break.
I just left Walter Reed Medical Center, and it's really something very special. The doctors, the nurses, the first responders, and I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. And you're going to beat it. I went, I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We're the greatest country in the world. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there, be careful. We have the best medicines in the world, and it all happened very shortly, and they're all getting approved, and the vaccines are coming momentarily. Thank you very much, and Walter Reed, what a group of people. Thank you very much.
I believe in it now. I believe it's going to happen to me now. I'm ready for it. It's great.
2 days ago, I felt great.
It's a good feeling. It's really better than I felt in a long time.
Like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. A very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it.
Take an old blanket out of the closet and say, here, you can make him a sandwich and say, oh, by the way, here. I get it now.
And we're back, as long as YouTube hasn't demonetized us. It's time to talk about the coronavirus. I think we all knew the coronavirus was an important topic, but now that Trump tested positive for the coronavirus, it's a huge deal. The biggest deal. So big. The coronavirus came up in a number of ways throughout the presidential debate. For instance, the crowd sizes of Trump's rallies.
Are you not worried about the disease
issues? We have a lot of people.
Sir?
Well, so far, we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice.
But it's not entirely true they had no problems. Tulsa County, Oklahoma, for instance. Thousands attended that rally. And the Tulsa health officials said the rally, as well as the protests against the rally, more than likely contributed to a spike in coronavirus cases, about 500 in the several days after the rally. But can you really trust health officials? Yes, that also came up, especially when they were talking about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks and social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also said the opposite. They've also said
no serious person said the opposite.
Well, look at Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the opposite.
He did not say the opposite.
Well, that's the thing about the coronavirus. As we learn more, the science changes. Even by the end of February, the CDC was not recommending masks to prevent the coronavirus. What really stops the virus is washing your hands. Obviously, the CDC changed their tune on that. Then there's the whole issue of how many people have died globally, which Trump correctly pointed out, we don't actually know.
And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand.
But Trump also claimed if Biden was in charge, the US death toll would be 2 million. Obviously, until CERN Labs manages to rip open a portal to the dimension where Biden ran and won in the 2016 election, we will have no idea what would have happened if Biden was at the helm. As for a coronavirus vaccine, Trump had this to say.
We have the military all set up. Logistically, they're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers, and they can do 200,000 a day.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Presenting the Best of Biden collection, now on home video. Now you can enjoy all your favorite wacky moments from America's senile old granddad.
Well, you know, gay bathhouses and it's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
Including sniffing a baby, awkward hugs, numbers are hard.
Go to Joe 30330.
Corn Pop.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Racism.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Stupid Troops.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard. You stupid bastard. Stupid bastard.
Blank Stare. Blank Stare Part 2. Chris is Chuck.
All right, Chuck, thank you very much.
All right, it's Chris, but anyway.
I just did Chris.
And many more.
Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone, make sure the kids hear word.
But wait, call within the next 10 minutes and receive a free copy of Kamala's Kooky Cackles. That's right, 6 full hours of ear-piercing cackles that the whole family can enjoy. Here's how to order.